Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to the Prem Bhakti Chandrika series. Today we are going to discuss verse number 19, which talks about serving Krishna with all our senses. So the verse goes like this: Rishike Govinda Seva Napu Jivo Devi Deva Eit Ananya Bhakti Katha आरजत उपालंभ विशेष सकली दंभ देखिते गए बड़ व्यथा. So let's understand direct meaning and then we will go into details. So first of all, Rishike Govinda Seva. Rishika means our senses. With our senses, with my senses, I must serve Govinda. With all my senses, I must serve Govinda. Na pujiba Devi Deva. And do not worship any demigods. Eita Ananya Bhakti Katha. This is called one pointed Ananya pure Bhakti. Then Archat Upalamba. Upalamba means deceit. Everything else, any other kind of knowledge related to body and uh, the matter, Vishesha Sakali Damba, it is only going to create more and more pride. The more we know about matter, the more it creates pride, unless that knowledge is used in Krishna's service. And Dekhite Lagaya Bada Vyatha. And this, seeing this, that how people are squandering away their life in ignorance, which is another name for material knowledge. And I feel, I mean, Narottam Das Thakur feels very compassionate or very disturbed or very miserable seeing their miseries. That paradukha dukhi as Vaishnavas are. So let's see in the details. What does it mean? Rishike Govinda Seva. So Srila Narad Muni, he mentions that uh, Tatparatvena nirmalam rushikena rushikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. He gives a definition of devotion. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam, being freed from all designations. I am this, I am that, any material designations. Tatparatvena nirmalam, concentrated on Krishna. Nirmalam, being pure of any other desire other than pleasing Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, with our senses, serving the master of senses who is Rishikesha. Why serve Krishna? Because he is the master of senses. With masters instruments, we are serving the master. That is the logic. That is bhakti, and that is very natural. That's why it's a very natural course for any living entity, from humans to demigods. For any living entity, the dharma is to serve Krishna. So Arjata Upalamba. Okay, let's go into details now. So Rishike Govinda Seva. So with all senses, I must serve Govinda. Everybody must serve Govinda. So that is Ananya Bhakti, and that is a natural course of action for a soul, which makes the soul completely satisfied. So let's see how we can use every sense in Krishna's service. And what if we don't use? So, how to use eyes in Krishna's service? There are 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. So, how to use knowledge acquiring senses in Krishna's service? Let's start with eyes. So, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Smeram Bhangitraya Parichitam Sachi Vistirna Drushtim Vamshi Nastadara Kishalayam Ujwalam Chandrakenam. What is that? गोविंदाख्याम हरितनुमिता केशितीर्थोपकंठे मा प्रेक्षिष्ठास्तव यदि सखे बंधु संगे स्थिरंगा. Oh, if you are interested in material life, do not see Govinda on the banks of Yamuna, whose eyes are like elongated like lotus petal, and whose face is brightened uh, up by and so beautiful by the uh, peacock feather mukut, and who is smiling so beautifully and enchantingly, and who is standing in a threefold bending form. So do not watch this Govinda. That means Rupa Goswami is saying, please watch this Govinda. There is nothing else to be watched with these eyes in this world. So seeing Krishna's beautiful form uh, and seeing the forms of devotees, that is the fruit of having the eyes. Otherwise, the eyes are like the eyes on the peacock feather, who are of no use. Then how to use ears in Krishna's service? Well, yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktirutpadyate punsam shokamoha bhayapaham. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna's names, forms, pastimes, one bhaktirutpadyate punsam, one gets Krishna prem, and as a side product, byproduct, one's lamentation, illusion, and fear are destroyed. Sadhyo hrudi avaruddhya tetra krutibi sushrushabis tatkshanat. So by having Shushrusha, desire to hear, one immediately captures Krishna in his heart, and locks him there in the heart. So this is how we use our ears in Krishna's service. And if you don't, then they will be like a snake holes. Like all the snake-like poisonous things will enter in our ears. Then how to use our tongue in Krishna's service? Tasting Krishna Prasad. So Toyopabhukta Saragandha Vaso Lankara Charchita Uchishta Bhojano Dasa Tava Mayam Jayamahi. Uddhav ji says that simply by tasting the Mahaprasad of yours, we will conquer Maya. And if you don't accept Mahaprasad, our Chaitanya Charit by Srila Murari Gupta, I think, there only it is mentioned that if we disrespect Mahaprasad and don't engage our tongue in honoring Mahaprasad and disrespect it, then one gets Shukar Yoni in the next life. It is mentioned one gets the uh, birth of a hog as a result of that offense. So then, how else? What else we use in Krishna service? Our nose. So it is mentioned about the Kumaras that Tasyaravindananasya Padaravinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargatasva Vivarena Chakara Tesham Sanshobham Aksharjusham Apichitta Tanmo. By smelling the tulsi at the lotus feet of Krishna, their hearts were shaken in ecstasy. And it is mentioned Antargatina Swavivarena Chakara Tesham. Just like Kumaras try to barge into Vaikuntha, disregarding the Dwarpal's Jai Vijay. Similarly, to reciprocate, ye yathamam prapadnante, the Tulsi fragrance from lotus feet of Krishna barged into their house, inner chamber of their heart, disregarding their Brahma Vivek, that not letting anything to enter, uh, any sense object, whether spiritual or material, to enter their senses. So, and if one doesn't do that, then it is like dead body, which is just breathing, but like like that, what is it called, uh, that those ironsmiths use, blacksmiths use, that kind of bellow, yeah, bellow thing. um, so this is about using, and the touch. So how should one engage the touch sense? Uh, by touching the deities of the Lord, by touching the devotees. Last verse only we heard. Krishna Bhakta Anga Heri Krishna Bhakta Sanga Kari. So that is how one, by serving devotees with, that is the touch sense is purified by touching the deities, by touching the devotees. And if one, and by by allowing the dust of Vaishnavas to touch our bodies. If you don't do that, then the body is like the dead body, like that. So, okay, we covered eyes, ears, nose, that means smelling sense, tasting sense, touching sense. All five covered. Now we will come to the karmendriya, how to use karmendriya in Krishna service. So, mouth. Mouth is used in glorifying Krishna. Sevan mukhe hi jivvado swayameva sfuratyadaha. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtanano Smrtyo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. We engage our tongue in singing Krishna's name, form, pastimes. If we don't do that, if we sing mundane matters, then that is like the croaking of toads, which invites the snake of Maya to eat us, swallow us. So this is how we use our mouth in Krishna's service to glorify Krishna. And then our hands, we clean the temple, we do paricharya of Krishna, archanam of Krishna, Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadav. About Ambarish Maharaj it is mentioned. And if you don't do that, Then shava karo, it is like dead body's hands. And then how to use legs in Krishna service, going to parikrama of the mandir or the holy places. So Padav Harer Kshetra Padanu Sarpane, it is mentioned. If you don't do that, then Druma Janma Bhajo. They are like the standing trees. The legs will be like standing trees. Okay. And then how to use the Payu and Upastha, the evacuating organ and the generating organ. So they are not separately mentioned because it will be little vulgar to use this, and it should be understood by wise men by their internal deliberation how to use them. But uh, like the evacuation and uh, because of the evacuation, the mind becomes stable, and that mind could be used in Krishna service. Therefore, these organs are also indirectly used in Krishna service. And the generating organs can be used to create a progeny that can serve Krishna for a gruhastha. So that is how this is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Shikshamrut explains that how one serves Krishna even using the generating organ and evacuating organ. About evacuating organ we just heard. Apart from these uh, uh, working senses and knowledge acquiring senses, even the inner senses, antahkaran, Rishike Govinda Seva, they are to be used in Krishna service. The man, buddhi, ahankar, mind, mayeva mana adhatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya. Hmm? And intelligence should be used in, smartavya, mind's function is to remember and to like. Smartavya satatam Vishnu vismartavya no jatuchit. One should always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. This is the mind's function. Mind should be applied. Ata kenapi upayana mana Krishna niveshayat. With any favorable means, one should engage one's mind in Krishna service. That is savai mana Krishna padaravindayo. So that is how one engages one's mind in Krishna service, remembering his pastimes, remembering his name, remembering his service, remembering his parshadas. Buddhi, intelligence should be used to understand Krishna the way Krishna is trying to explain himself to us through Gita and Bhagavatam, and then to make plans to serve Krishna, to make plans to serve Krishna better. That is a use of intelligence to discriminate between what is good for devotion, what is not good for devotion. That is using intelligence in Krishna's service. And ego, Krishna das abhimane ye ananda sindhu, koti brahma sukha nahe tare ke bindu. Even to have always a disposition that I am servant of Krishna. This is the correct ego. This is using ego in Krishna's service. And I am Krishna's servant. I cannot be touched by Maya or anything else. That is the correct ego. Chaitanya Radas Moi Chaitanya Radas Chaitanya Das Atar Dasa Daser Anudas. So this is how one uses one's all senses in Krishna's service. And na pujivo Devi Deva. There is no need and to worship any demigods. And in fact, it's a wrong thing to do demigod worship once one has the knowledge that Krishna is my master. Until one is in ignorance, it is fine to worship demigods and get benedictions from them and to live a life, pious life, etc. But uh, as soon as the Shraddha arises in the heart by Sadhu Sangha, it is mandatory that one should not worship demigods. Otherwise, one Shraddha will become corrupt and he will never attain Prema Bhakti. Demigods are automatically satisfied. What to speak of demigods? Whole world is automatically satisfied by serving Krishna. Yasmin tushte jagat tushtam. And even if, let's say, they are not satisfied, still that is not your lookout. Still that is not my business. My business is to serve Krishna, whether it pleases somebody or doesn't please somebody. that is how a devotee sees. All right, so this is Rishike Govinda Seva Na Pujibo Devi Deva. Eita Ananya Bhakti Katha. This is Ananya Bhakti. And Arajata Upalamba. Everything else is self-deceit. Anything related to Deha and Daihik, the body and bodily relationships, and that kind of knowledge will simply create more and more pride. And Narottam Das Thakur's heart um uh, becomes saddened by he becomes compassionate, and he cannot tolerate the misery of being falsely proud of material knowledge and everything. Like that he mentions, right? Ahankare mattahaya nitai pada pasariya. Sei pashu bado durachar. That animalistic person is uncontrollable. He's not saying this out of despising or looking down or disgust, but it is more out of pity and compassion. So this is what we discuss about uh, this verse. We'll conclude here. Krishna willing, we will come again, discuss next verse. Till then, have a very nice Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna. Also, today happens to be Srila Prabhupada disappearance day, and Srila Prabhupada's, by his grace, uh, uh, like Krishna Bhakta Sangha Kari Krishna Bhakta Anga Heri, simply by seeing him, being in contact with him, those who had no knowledge of Krishna Bhakti, they became devotees. And he stressed on this point of, you know, Rishike Govinda Seva, the senses are meant to serve Krishna, like that. And and therefore he also stressed on that the futility of material knowledge if it is not used in Krishna's service. So we are eternally grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us this knowledge. Otherwise, we do not know what would have happened to us. Hare Krishna.